Hey math kids, today we're going to talk about section 4b, which is power equations, and basically we're just going to learn how to solve for x with different exponents. So we have these three equations. Let's see, what is that? That's a 5. Okay. So what we need to do to get rid of an exponent is do the inverse root for that. So in this case, a cube root. And that's going to give us an x. And the cube root of 27 would be 3, but since it's negative, it's a negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is 27. Okay. Now we subtract 5 from both sides here. We get x to the 4th equals 10. And then we do a 4th root this time. Now when we do an even root, that's when we have to do a plus or minus. So since this 4 is an even number, we do a plus or minus. Just like when we were doing a square root on the previous section, which is a 2, and an even number, we had to do a plus or minus. Right here, we had an odd number, so we didn't need to do a plus or minus. Okay. Now right here, we do a 5th root. 5th root. 5th is odd, so we don't have to worry about plus or minus. We have one more step. We need to add 2. So x is equal to 2 plus the 5th root of 11. Okay, we have one more example. We're on example 4. So x raised to the 5 equals negative 1 over 32. And x to the negative 4 equals 256. So what we need to do is we need to rewrite just this side as 1 over x to the 5th. And this side stays the same. Now, because what we want is on the bottom, what we're going to do is we're going to flip both fractions. So you get x to the 5th over 1, and then negative 32 over 1. So we just flip those upside down. Now because both of those have a 1 on the bottom, those 1s are redundant, we don't need to write them. So we can just write it like that. We can take the 5th root of each side, so that just becomes x. Because it's an odd number, we don't need a plus or minus. And we just need to think what number times by itself 5 times makes 32. That's 2, but because it's negative, it's now a negative. Okay? This one, similar idea. We need to flip this upside down because of the negative exponent. Now we need to flip both sides of the equation, so we're going to think of this like it's over 1. And so we get x to the 4th over 1, and then 1 over 256. The 1 on this side is redundant, this one's not though. So we can say x to the 4th equals 1 over 256. We take the 4th root of both sides. We're left with just x. Since it's an even number, we need a plus or minus. And so we have the 4th root of 1 over 256. The 4th root of 256 is 4. The 4th root of 1 is 1. And so essentially we're looking at it like this. So we have plus or minus 4th root of 1, 4th root of 256, just kind of a messy fraction like that. But the 4th root of 1 is just 1, and the 4th root of 256 is 4, because 4 times 4 gives us 256, and we still have our plus or minus, and x is equal to that. Okay, if you need additional help, please come to Math Lab and calculator.